it's still a major bummer that our messages go away every time we refresh the page. The messages we worked so hard for. But admittedly, it's a little silly that we have those hard-coded messages still in there. Let's go ahead and get rid of those. In chat.js, let's just initialize messages to an empty array. Those were good while we were styling the messages, so we didn't have to keep adding data just to test our styles. But at this point, it's gotten silly. Remove hard-coded messages. Yeah.
I've been receiving those little warnings on the side throughout this whole project.
If they're all just about not pointing links to hash, don't worry about them. We'll get rid of them eventually. So links to hash, that just means to the current page, right? So it's a link to nowhere, which for right now is fine, because we just wanted to be able to style the links. So I needed to have an href to something. If it is bothering you, you can just change them from hash to slash, like that. That's fine. You can do that. From hash to slash. So it'd be cool if we could actually sync our message data with the cloud. Local storage wouldn't do us much good, would it? I'm chatting on my laptop, you're chatting on yours. Local storage, totally separate. We can't chat that way. Unless we're actually using the whole same computer. Type a message. Okay, your turn. Type a message. I mean, I do like text my wife from the same room, but that's even another level more ridiculous. So, okay, we should learn Node.js real quick and write a whole backend, right? Make a REST API. That might be a little ambitious for the time we have left. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is take advantage of the fact that there are services up there in that cloud that offer backend architecture that we can just use. Some of them for free. We're not going to be having so much traffic or so many users that we need to pay for it. So we can use a free account. We're going to use Firebase. Anybody used Firebase before? Woo! Did you have a question or you've used Firebase? Sweet. Firebase.google.com. Yes, indeed, Firebase is from our friends at Google. Google are not your friends, folks. They're selling your personal data. Anyway. But Firebase is pretty cool. There's a lot of talk about mobile apps. It really has nothing. There's nothing special about the mobile nature of this. It's just how they're marketing it now. Totally works great with web apps too. Comprehensive mobile development platform or other development platform, also fine. And they have a bunch of services, including hosting, a real-time database that stores and syncs apps data in milliseconds. That sounds attractive. Authentication. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is going to be just the thing. So if you have a Google login, you can do it. Let's just sign in. You might be signed in already. I don't know why it's making me sign in right now, but it is. So you're probably already signed in if you have a Gmail account. If not, sign in. Click on the little menu here, and not on that. Click on yourself. Not that. Oh, yeah, get started. It's so hard to find Firebase from Firebase. Click on Get Started, and it'll take you to the Firebase console. I'll give you a direct link to that. And then you can add a project. So everybody actually do this now. Go to Firebase, sign in with your Google account, click on Get Started, and then we will add a project. Click Add Project. I'm going to call mine Chat S3 Afternoon. I do not want to share my data. Thank you very much. Any more than is required? No, thanks. I'm serious. Create project. And here we are. Hit continue. And there we are, the Firebase console. Get started here. Add Firebase to your iOS app, your Android app, or your web app. That's us. Click on Add Firebase to your web app, and you'll get this info here. This is some configuration stuff that we're going to use. Over here on the side, you'll notice authentication, database, storage, hosting, etc. So this is how we get started. It says, copy and paste the snippet below at the bottom of your HTML before other script tags. We'll do it a more React-y way than that. Or at least a more ES6 modules way than that. Keep in mind, this code is going to be different for all of us. This has your API key, your auth domain, your database URL, etc. So I will not be copying and pasting this and putting it in Slack. This will be different for each of us. So go ahead and copy this, though, from var down to Firebase initialize app, everything inside the script tag. Now you can copy the comment initialize Firebase too. Go ahead and copy that, and we're not going to put it inside a component. We're going to put it inside just a JavaScript file that's in our source directory. I'm going to call it base.js, lowercase b, because it's not a component. So lowercase b, base.js. I'll paste that in. Now, var, I don't think so. Const. But that's fine. So we have this configuration object, then we call firebase.initializeApp config, but Firebase is not going to be defined. In their example code, they include it in a script tag, but we can use our fancy import business for that, as long as we have Firebase. So let's add Firebase. With yarn, add Firebase. So what will that do? That will both download Firebase and put it in your node modules folder, and it should add it as a dependency in package.json. There it is, Firebase. Just like magic. So yarn add Firebase will do that. Downloads it, puts it in your node modules folder, and adds it to your list of dependencies. So then in base.js, at the top, we could say import Firebase from Firebase. Now, Firebase contains a lot of modules, and we're only going to use, I think, 3 of them. So we could say Firebase from Firebase/app and avoid importing a bunch of unused code into our JavaScript. So I'll import Firebase from Firebase/app. Cool. Now, this has my API key and stuff like that in it. I don't really want to commit this to GitHub. It's not that big a security risk because you'll have whitelisted domains and stuff like that. The API key will be readable from the user's browser anyway, so it's not that important that you protect it, but you don't want it in your GitHub repository. So what we're going to do is add a new file called base.example.js, which will have all that stuff, but without our personal info in it. So this is my base.example.js, and I will put this, I'll save this, const app equals Firebase initialize app. So this I will paste into Slack. So this can totally be committed, but we don't want the other to be committed. So what we'll do is edit git ignore. Remember the git ignore file? That's what tells it do not commit the node modules folder. So down here we can say Firebase config and just add base.js. So that will not be committed, but base.example.js will. Yeah. Because it has like your API key and stuff. You don't want other people to have your API key. You want them to use their own. So we put this example file in so they know this is where I paste this information in. So let's see. I'll commit yarn.lock and package.json and just say add Firebase. And then, oops. What am I doing here? Yeah. Add sample Firebase config. But not our real Firebase config. So once you've got this copied out of here, you can close this. And let's look at the side here. So we've got authentication. That sounds interesting. That'd be cool. Database. Sounds great. Now they're pushing their Cloud Firestore, which is new. It's in beta, so we're not going to use it yet. They seem to be encouraging it quite a bit, but they have a tendency to update things while we're in the middle of extern boot camp. At least they didn't completely break the current version yet, like they did 1 year, and we had to make everything up on the fly. That was fun. But scroll down here, and we get to the old version of the database. So scroll down on this database page real quick and find or choose real-time database. Sounds good to me. Hit create database. It'll give you a choice on the security rules. Start in locked mode, which denies all reads and writes until you make rules that allow certain users. Or you can start in test mode, which lets all read and writes go, which is fine for us for now. We'll add other security rules later. And you'll notice it'll have this big warning here. So now we have the Firebase database set up, and it's just a matter of syncing our data with it.